This is Gerald Johan van Waas and the educational channel of demonstrations regarding the theories that involve letter combinations and how we perceive them, how we follow them, and we follow their directions, we follow their instructive suggestions. And this video is part 2 of the more advanced theory that shows you how we deal with that focus in which letters are embedded. Letters have a focus that pinpoints places in space, in time, and also involves your involvement as a suggestion that you should follow the leads, that not only follow leads of known places and spaces and so on, but also follows changes and follows your adaptation of your orientation process itself. All letters are suggestions that say, okay, we know this part, we know this part, we know this part. Actually, are only 3 different focuses: the placement in time, the following of directions, the placement in space, the following directions in time, and your orientation process or focus itself. Not much more than that. And here are all the letters in a numerical order, as the suggestion says that the Pythagoras method has developed someday or another. I've developed it slightly further because letters, most letters were associated with numbers. No, I also divide each number in 3 positions. Just like the strings on an instrument, they are, we ourselves here, elements, we try to focus upon things as trying to match the right positions on the strings. And it's a bit under the note, a bit over the note. These 3 positions, they are existing in letters as well, and we follow them and we try to be sensitive to them as well. So we have either the attention totally given to the localization of the object. There we define the objects, we define the places, and we work with the elements that we recognized. Once they change a little bit and we can't pinpoint its positions exactly anymore, our attention goes to the next stage, which is, where does it go to? Where are they? Where is it? So these are the next letters that gives you directions to where the things are evolving or changing, or what is changing. And the last category is the most complex one, is your attention towards the positions is completely dominated by context, and we have to adapt towards its context. This is the second video in which I will focus completely on the changes, on the second category, the second complexity of category. The first category were about localizing the object, so basically trying to find the definition of the one, the point of reference of the neutrality with which I work with, and there we needed 3 focuses, somewhere in the center, a little bit further, or to the side, in 1, 2, or 3 positions. All these letters, these 9 letters, fitted into that category. But also the 3 regions of evolution are also the same categories. It's trying to localize, trying to develop it further in the volume, trying to develop further, and creating a bit doubtful moment where you have, where you miss a part of your focus. These three focuses are also in each region, but we are at the second region, and we will compare it with the first region so that we know where we start from. Our first starting point is the three-dimensional world of materialized objects and points in space which we are sure where they are. They give us a certainty, they give us a certainty of mind, they give us a mindset that we can work with it. Well, we're so happy that we work with it and it is within our focus. Which are these focuses? Basically, as you can see, here are they. As we have the eye, our mind tries to pinpoint the objects and the reference points. Here are the reference points. Here are all the points within reach. As you can see, it's this area, this circle is all what is within reach and what I can recognize as starting points. These are the letter-based associations of the localizations that are all within our visible range. It's the predictable three-dimensional world. Is everything in the world predictable? Though it's not. This is also only 1/3 of what you can see, 1/3 of the possibilities of reference points that you can find. So no, not at all. We have to go to the next level of visualization, of understanding the world which is much more than a three-dimensional stable world where everything is fixed, fixed positions and so on. No, things change and things are also outside reach, as you could already understand a bit with the last letters of the last category, where the doubtful idea already was there because we didn't know where things were going. Now, at this case, in the second category, we will focus completely on where the things are going. Where are they evolving to? So, even if things moved a bit out of sight, we have to adapt, have to use our intelligence and use our open mind and just follow the changes, try to localize the directions of change. Simply of that. If something's moving away, what do? We look at where is it moving away to? Oh, to the right, to the left, to the ups and downs. It's not really too uncomforting to see when something is going something is going away. If we know it's going away, to the right, to the left. What's the difference of a fixed point or a point which is going away when we see that it is going away and we see when it's in which direction? It's also predictable in a way, so it's okay, it's okay. But how do we deal with all these things? Because a part of it will also be out of reach at this moment. But we not only live for this moment, we also live for the moment that is going to come, with the things that are evolving towards something. And maybe they are worth it. Let's face it that maybe the things evolve to something somewhere that is still within reach. We will see the things within reach when we adapt our focus. And the first way to adapt our focus is to adapt our focus to see where are the things going to, in which direction. That's our first starting point, a very easy starting point, and that's the starting point of the next level. Follow the change, follow the growth process, follow where it's going to, in which direction, how is it evolving, and so on. You need the element of time. All the time and here are the letters. So we have the A in the middle where we started from. So that was our starting point. That was our reference point. Our reference point was, yeah, we know what we have. Well, I know what I have. Yeah, I know what I know. Yeah, I have a theory. Yeah, I have a definition. Yeah, I know what it is. And suddenly it moves. It moves somewhere else. Oops. Yeah. Where do I... Oh, I lose my focus suddenly. But just by moving the focus slightly, it adapts. So from A to D, from this to this level, the D is simply a relocalization of the center point of attention, and it stays within our visible range, so it doesn't matter very much. It's reachable within our three-dimensional space. The center point simply moved a bit, and it moved over time. It adapted over time, not much more than that. It needs some time to find your focus. That's the first thing you need to do, and that's the first letter. Association, that's what it does. That's what the focus does in time. So here are the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional region. Basically, it's about fourth dimensional time, but in a spatial reference. And the spatial reference has three dimensions of spatial references in which time is connected. So the time connections are different in one of the three angles of the three dimensions, the horizontal, vertical, or the diagonal changes are different. So that's why there are three extra dimensions in time, and I will explain them how they are different. It simply is a move, horizontal move in time, which is because it's also a horizontal move in space, so it's moving because the horizontal and the horizontal plane of your focus of the three-dimensional plane remains the same. It remains neutral, so the change in focus is moving along the same line. It's only, you could also say it's only 1/3 of a movement in time. That's why the time is linear. It's linear in time. It's only a move towards a new position in space over time. Nothing more than that. I need some time to find a new focus. Next level. Let's go to the next position. The next position, which we had in the three-dimensional vision, was the slightly out of focus foundation that we find, oh, this is within reach. Yeah, and I can still do something with it. That was the second focus, the T. The T was about the things that you can use. You've found a feature within reach that you can say, okay, but I can still do something with it. It's the same thing. It's the same foundation. It's that position where you can do something with it, which in this case will change also over time. You can do maybe something else with it. It can evolve to what you can do with it, or maybe its position of what you can do with it, or how much you have there, or how much is involved, or how much space it is involved, and so on. These things can evolve. That's the dimension of time which is involved in the T, which changes it into an N position, on N content. It is about not just something I can do with it, but it becomes something that you can do with it and let it evolve. It's a content indeed. The N is a content which evolves over time, how much there is in it, how much it is associated, how much space is involved, how much you do with it, how much time you need to, whatever, how much you associate with it. Also there it says I have a content, it will be there longer, and I can use it longer as well, and in a larger context in time. That's the N. The next letter is based upon the same position as the K. The K was at the edges of our focus, so we could still see what it was. We could still do something, but we didn't see where it could evolve, if it would change, if it would evolve. We couldn't see a part of it. We couldn't see. It's the same thing here. The K and the Y position are the same. But here it is, this our spatial frame in the fourth dimension will move. Actually, it will move in the diagonal direction. So it will move. It is without, and it reaches also things that are outside our reach, as you can see. The Y is connected with things that as a K were at the edge of our vision, but in the Y they are completely outside our reach, but they will come within our reach. They will come within the possibility of reaching it. That's where you can find in the mind context of Y, the Y will be used in that kind of focuses. It's the third position in as a fundamental position at the edges, at the limit, and then in the fourth dimension involvement, it says the fourth dimension involvement simply says it will still be there after a while, and it evolves. And as you can see, the K was at the edge of your focus. So if your focus moves and moves away and evolves over time, this focus will change. So after a while, it will be within reach. So the unpredictable aspect of K becomes more predictable because it becomes within reach. That's more or less the letter mindset that you have when you use the Y. It's with outside reach now. You don't even know what it is, but it will come within reach. Why? You don't know that now. So you breach also that moment of focus. This is also the first moment where it's so clear that the focus itself has been breached, that you reached, in this case, an element that was not within reach before, and even without changing your focus. You didn't have to change your focus. The last category was about changing a focus, otherwise you can't find it. Here you don't have to change the focus with your question mark why. You go towards it and you will find it. It will be there. It's at the edge of it's at the limitation of what you can see. You can't see it now, but you will see it without needing to change anything. Just go towards it, find it, it's at your limit, and it's there, and you will reach it sooner or later. It's just a matter of time, and you will reach it. Nothing more than that. So you don't need to adapt your focus. You just have to follow up what you already know with the limitations, what you know, how you know these things. It's enough to reach it. Let's go to the next level. The next level on this in this series is the letter E. It's on the next position. So what is the difference with? So we had three letters. They were all one focus that changed over time: horizontal, vertical, diagonal. Now the next level will be about two focuses, the same thing, horizontal, vertical, diagonal. What will be the effect? I will show you. So the letter E, we have our focus where we had two comparable regions of center focus that we had before. The U was about an element that but we're not sure of that, what it is, and how that we can follow it well. But there's another element of it, so that's why we make a certain difference. There is a part that we can follow. That's the U. We follow the part that we can follow. we will follow that path. Something is not developed well enough yet, but there will be a path that will be developed enough, and we will focus mainly on that. That's why you have a double focus on the center. So you have a center-minded vision. You go towards the center, you say, okay, some part I know it will not work, but some of it will work. I will focus on the part that works. That's why it's a doubled focus, and you follow what works. That's the U. That's the U part. On this next level, with the involvement of time, it means that these elements of focus, where some part of it works, another part will not work, moves and changes over time. So some parts that will work now will not work in the future, or the other way around. What will not work in the past might work in the future. This changes, it evolves. It's the E of evolution. It evolves over time. Some of the elements that can be useful in the future, and might not be useful now, but they can get into use. The U is to use what you can use now. The E, the A, actually, it is as a letter A, is what you can use after a while, and so on. It changes. It changes because of the adaptation over time. It moves, it evolves, it shifts over time. So things can be established with some changes that are done over time. That's where the A comes in, and that's the mindset of the A. The mindset of that doubled focus that adapts over time and manages to adapt, because it does do that with each focus over time. Next letter is the O. The O is, now in this case, it's going up. So what's underneath and on the lower level is the L. The L was the material which was evolving, and when you got more material and things are materializing and so on, accumulating, you get more and more material that you can use. That was the L. And here, because of the time, you get even more material available. The space becomes larger, the time becomes available. Over time, more material will become available. That's what it is. At some other time, other things can be reached. We can accumulate material. We can make certain materials available after a while, which wasn't available now. With some changes over time, it can be done. It can be reached, and so on. That's what you have. By a change over time that you do deliberately, you can achieve this. That's the mindset of the O. The next letter will be the Z, or the we, the W, sorry, the we, yeah, where the time frame of the fourth dimension is in the diagonal plane, so it will follow the changes over time of what is what is in the limitation zone. So its limitations range a little bit. These ranges of limitations and reaches, what it normally can reach and what it doesn't, will evolve and change over time. So this evolution of possibilities of ranges is also the ranges of the W and the Z from within and the W from outside. It is that kind of limitations that over time will be reached, or can be reached, or will find a new set of parameters that it will adapt to different conditions with the Z. It's more or less the mindset to pinpoint on these letters, and that's where these letters will be used. The next level will be the same thing with horizontal, vertical, diagonal in the fourth dimensional plane added to the three-dimensional reference points in space, and this time with three focuses at once. So the 3 focus at once. Underneath you had the letter C with the 3 focus at once. That helped you to coordinate the differences in a center point of different center points, and you say, okay, I'll make the best of it. That's basically what the C does. I make the best of it. The G is the same thing, but on the next level with the 4th dimensional involved, or with time involved, or with evolutions involved, or with over time. The range of space and time will be larger. So some things will be reached that can't be reached before, will have different positions. In this time it will slightly change position. What will it do in the letters as a mindset? The G is about reaching, also coordinating elements, just like the C, but coordinating elements over time. And sometimes some elements can be useful, and in another time another element can be more useful. So you just change your position of your mindset, and you adapt very quickly in position. So this time this will be more useful, and the next time that will be more useful. So you see it jumps. It jumps and adapts over time from one element to another, and it will adapt in that way. That's the mindset of the G, background for the G. So when it changes over time, it also will switch from one thing to another. And the last letter, we still have to have the P. The P underneath, on the lower level, on the 3-dimensional plane, is the M or the material, which is going all directions. And you follow the directions, all the directions that follow. As you can see here, it's not the P yet. I'm too quickly. It's the F, of course. It's the F. I'm too quickly. I thought something is wrong here. Now it's going up. So the other things are up. So the M is a material, indeed. So you have the material underneath, which you go in all directions, but all the directions that are still within reach, of course. That's the M as the material, and you do the best with it. You maximize it. The Mama will do that as well. It will maximize all of its material and makes the best of it. That's what the M will do. When you evolve the next level of understanding of time, it also means your focus in time will move a little bit, and the elements will reach it will not reach other elements, but its positions, as you can see, its positions, because you have so much material, its positions will move a bit, because if your focus is this, and you have all material, and your focus change a little bit, some of the material will be on the edges, and then it more in the middle, and the other material will be more in the volume. So these positions and the order of positions, the order of what you can do with it changes as well. So that's what the F is. It gets mixed positions. So one time you can do more with this, and another time you can more with this. Now it's a center focus. Oh no, now it's material. I can do something. Oh no, now I don't know much with it anymore. That's the F. It's all the directions. What you can do with it, with all the material, changes over time. It switches its positions. That's the mindset of the F. Now the last letter, the last letter is, of course, the P, which is on the position on the lower level of the X. The X was at the edges of our visual range of what we could see, and it was already evolving towards somewhere else where we don't know where it could be, because we could only see it until here. So it's already evolving to somewhere else. So it's on the same level, but of course, because when we involve time and the changes over time, these elements that were already at the edges of our understanding and seeing that they were they were there, still within reach, are now, our focus is having a much more range, and it's immediately out of range. Or on the other hand, if it's the same kind of position, we immediately reach unknown elements which weren't within reach before. So it involves new elements. That's what P is. So the X was the hardly controllable elements, which, because of involving time, it will involve completely unexpected results over time. These are the results that come out of it. As you can see, here are the time changes, its positions change, and it will evolve even new elements. And that's the breaching point. That's the last moment of in the last section, in the last moment of this category, and it also reaches in that way, just like last time, the next category. And the next category is about reaching the unknown, reaching what you don't know, what you can't see, all what is outside of reach. How do we deal with that? Here the P already shows you that such elements that were unknown can become within reach, even in this case without changing the focus. It's just following the process, the whole process of changes, and follow every move and change, and you get something out of the process, of the P of the process, just by following the process completely. This was about following the process. Where does it go to? Where are the directions go to? What does this bring us? How does this change my element? If you follow this whole process and complete it, something will come out of the process which is even unknown before. That's what the last section. You will get the realization that the unknown is not such a bad thing. It's even within reach, as long as we follow a process for it. If we follow its directions, we will reach the unknown also. And that's up for the next region, which is the last region of complexity that can become within reach of focus, because we will be able to change our focus itself. We focus on the last category. But that's for next time. I hope you enjoyed. This was Gerald de Vanoise again, the website too. This section that I just explained, you could not find in these. You cannot find it in these books, because maybe it's about time, and I make a next level of a book of more practical foundations, and these videos are already the first preparation for that. But of course, when you have the book, this will help you, of course, as well, to understand the very foundations that are lying underneath in nature itself, and that are there to guide you, actually, to guide your mind. The mind follows the most simple rules if it can, and the simple rules are, for me, the rules of three: center, middle, edge. How much can we realize? How much elements are we sure that we can localize immediately? Not more than three again. What kind of three kind of conditions can we have to focus upon? It's placement, changes of direction, if you can't place it, and if we can't follow the directions, and then we need to adapt our focus. That's why also there, just about the focus, in the adaptations of focus, there are only three kinds of focuses that can help you to pinpoint and get you the elements out of it, that to combine, so that we can find directions again and find the elements with which we can work with and communicate with and use it in language. And that's what it's also all about. It's about letters, the use of letters, the directions which are also in letters. The whole system of logic is already in the letters themselves, believe it or not. Thanks again for watching, bye bye.